Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Emily here, helping reading intervention teachers with solutions to make sure that your programs are off to a great start. Today's video, we are going to explore Phonics Lesson Library 2.0 and answer the question, does it improve upon the original? So I'm going to drop in a video that is taken off of my phone, so hopefully it will come over okay. But I just returned from the Plain Talk conference in New Orleans, and I was so privileged to be able to walk people through the 95% Group's digital solution library. And I was able to walk through with different people in the field, experts that are working through these programs, creating these programs, and actually how they are used. And I found some really interesting takeaways from the PLL 2.0. So if you've been using PLL 1.0, the original, and you love it like I do, I hope that you will take a peek with me at the PLL 2.0.
Okay, so now I'm going to assess her with a different skill. So I'm going to assess her on skill 2. And we're going to start the assessment. These prompts are going to come up each time to orient the teacher to the test. Once teachers are super comfortable and familiar with it, they can skip the instructions. And so they're great features here. So the student can connect to their device, and so the words and the sentences are going to pop up on their screen. Otherwise, the students can just read from the printed assessment. We can turn the recording feature on. That's going to allow teachers to come back, do any type of calibration, share in parent-teacher conferences, bring to any MTSS meetings or anything like that. And so then we're going to start scoring. So the common errors you can toggle on and off. The score marks, the X is if the student got it incorrect. The check is if they get it correct. H/SC is for hesitation or self-correction, and then SS is for sound by sound.
So this is basically the diagnostic piece after the universal screener has already been completed. Kids that were not proficient need an additional look, so we jump over to here.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm going to go through this super quickly so we can get to the good stuff. So I'm going to hit continue. For this piece, the only words that are going to be scored are the words that are underlined. The other thing, just to note really quickly, is teachers can add any notes in the assessment, or they can note signals. So if the students are having issues with pacing or constant confusion or tracking, that can be recorded here. And so I'm going to hit continue, and it's going to immediately tell me, hey, Lydia is not showing proficiency, and we recommend that you stop the assessment. If I chose not to be a rule follower and continue, it's just going to move on to the next skill. So I'm going to stop the assessment and give it a second to score my results. And um, so here's the assessment. I don't know what's going on. That's the internet. Um, so I'm seeing the pseudo words and the words in the sentence, and then my recommended resources are populated here.
So it
So
automatically does the bridge to instruction, which is unusual
yes.
in most programs.
Mm-hmm. So I immediately know, hey, you need to start intervening with skill 2.1. If we're in the middle of an intervention cycle or whatever the case may be, I may choose to start intervening on another skill. So these are the primary resources that are going to link directly to the Phonics Lesson Library. But if I click more, this is going to link to our core program. So if the interventionist might be working with the Phonics Lesson Library, but you might have your grade level teacher who is able to intervene on these skills in the core program with our core products.
So that being said, some of the things that I'm hearing in the sessions are that importance to make sure that we're using the same terminology, we're using the same scope and sequence. So this bridges the core phonics for tier 1 with the tier 2, tier 3 intervention.
Correct.
Let me ask you this. Will it also take the data from all of the other students and group?
Yes. So I'm going to add this to my playlist so I know to come back to it. But when I'm ready to start grouping students, um, I'm going to go to set up new intervention cycle, and I'm just going to name this test. I don't have a lot of student data in this particular
demo.
environment, but we have the teacher start feature, which is going to put the teachers in the driver's seat to um, assess those or to group those students. And we have the tech start. So the tech start is going to um, group the students for you. And so we're going to give it some parameters and hit next. And so it's immediately placed Lydia in a skill 6.2 group. And then I have another student who was assessed, Carolyn, and that's going to put Carolyn in a P11 group. And so here I'm able to edit it and say, okay, this group's going to work on skill P11. I'm going to assign a group leader. And it allows me to go in and start naming those things. And so once I'm done with the way that the system has done it, I can activate it, and that's going to put it into practice.
So it also, so if this is connected to the core, which is the 95 core phonics, the classroom teacher also has this information. So they truly can get that differentiated instruction in tier 1.
Yes.
Moving into tier 2 or tier 3 for that double dose.
Right.
It's all seamless.
Yes.
Okay, one other question, because this is one of my, I think, hesitations about digital products, is that the teacher is removed from the instruction. I know that's not the case here.
Right.
Can you show me how that works? How are we hybriding, if you will, the teacher instruction with the digital component?
Yeah. So you saw that once we've identified which skills our students need to work on. So I've added those skills to my playlist, and so I know that I have students who need intervention in skill 2.1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Phonics Lesson Library 2.0, and I'm going to go to skill 2.1. And so this, with the new Phonics Lesson Library 2.0, is going to walk me through a review of the students.
So rather than the bags,
right,
we have this now.
We have this.
And this has all the same instruction as all those bags.
Has all of the same instruction and more.
Okay.
So
I like it.
with the new digital 2.0, there are digital presentation files that the teachers can use alongside the lesson. There are also student activity modules. And so we'll take a look. So we're still following that same I do, we do, you do module. But then when we get to, and I'll just highlight a couple of things in the student activity modules. And so on day 1 for the you do, students are either going to do sort words or transfer to the text. So we'll just do sort words today. And so the teacher is still here alongside the student at the table, behind the table, just kind of monitoring what they're doing. And so you can be the student.
Okay, so we're looking if they have short I or not.
And so you're just going to drag and drop.
Drag and drop. Let's make a couple of errors just in case to see what it does.
Okay. And so the system's telling you, hey, you got 5 out of 7 correct. Please try again. But
now, some of my takeaways from PLL 2.0 that I really like is there really is this hybrid situation where we have some digital components in addition to not removing the teacher as the important variable. This part I love. One other interesting aspect about PLL 2.0, for those of you that are working in the digital space, the virtual space, maybe that you are tutoring or teaching online, This program can actually streamline that approach for you so that you're not trying to manage cameras and manipulatives and this and that. You can actually work with your student in a virtual learning situation and be connected on the same platform. That was huge. But what's interesting, and not a lot of programs that I know of really do this, and they are taking those, we are going from the universal screening data to the diagnostic to the instruction back out to the data. And so this, I think, is a really important approach to making sure that we're using data, progress monitoring to ensure that our instruction is actually working. And I think this tool is going to help you to elevate your phonics instruction for your students and simplify and actually reduce some of the amount of time, prep time, that you have to do for your students, because goodness knows we all need a little more prep time, right? I would love to hear your comments. This was a quick little video, but I wanted you to take a peek because coming up in the next video, I'm going to finally dive into morpheme magic. Super excited about this one because one of the big themes in Plain Talk was all about morphology. So drop your comments. What do you think? PLL 2.0, would you do it? Would you stick with your 1.0? Would you use a combination of both? Love to hear from you. Thank you for what you do. Bye for now.